Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Over the past 24 hours or so, there have been some pretty unfortunate announcements in regards to some new Call of Duty updates. Some updates that are already live, some updates that are upcoming. There's obviously a lot of things going on right now, both in Black Ops 6 and also in BO6 Warzone with the whole integration there that are not great. Season 1 was definitely not without its large issues, and unfortunately, instead of addressing a lot of the major concerns and major issues going on in-game right now between multiplayer zombies and Warzone, Call of Duty is instead opting to address things that people aren't complaining about and things that are actually making the game a little bit more fun. Now, this all started, of course, yesterday when Call of Duty went through and removed the surprise XP token update. You may recall with the launch of Season 1, they actually brought back all of the old double weapon, double rank, and then also double battle pass XP tokens that you had on your account from MW2 and MW3, and that's because they're available to use in Warzone. But then 24 hours later, a surprise playlist update and hotfix update went out. We covered this in the patch notes video yesterday. If you haven't caught that, feel free to go and check it out. But they ended up removing the ability to activate those tokens in multiplayer and zombies for really no reason. They proved that yes, it was possible to have those tokens saved from MW2 and MW3, and it was possible to use them in Black Ops 6. But they don't want you doing that. Largely, I would imagine, because of retention. They don't want you leveling up weapons quickly. They don't want you leveling up your rank and getting to Prestige Master quickly, because then you might jump off the game. In my opinion, if you just make a really good game, and I think Black Ops 6 is, for the most part, a really good game, people will play regardless, but it was a whole thing. We talked about it yesterday. In my opinion, it objectively sucks. Now, there is still a workaround for this. You can still use all of your legacy XP tokens from MW2 and MW3 by loading into Warzone, selecting any mode to enter a lobby, then you can access the token menu in the bottom right, pop, an hour worth of double weapon XP, and then switch over to zombies or switch over to multiplayer, and the token will still be active. You know it's bad though when pretty much everyone in the community is sitting here reading this going, man, but how long until they fix this? So that was sort of the start of the snowball effect of just incredibly disappointing updates, as you'll see. So alongside previewing some other changes that I'm sure are not going to go over great with the community, we did actually see several other additional surprise updates drop yesterday. So we do have a couple of patch notes to cover. Not all changes are great ones though, so it's just been a rough 24 hours for Call of Duty in general. But as we do go through all the notes and all the changes upcoming here, quick reminder, if you are new to the channel right now, around 59% of viewers watching are not subscribed. So if that's you, I'd love to have you join us on the road to 1 million every single day. I got you covered with news and updates, both the good and the bad, the latest meta breakdowns for all the best weapons and loadouts you need to be using alongside everything else going on in COD. So feel free to hit that sub button. And if you enjoy this video, despite the not so great news all around, a like rating is seriously appreciated. It really does help grow the channel and share the video around to new viewers. But we did see some bonus updates and additional patch notes outside of the updates that went live earlier yesterday. So they did say for Warzone and Black Ops 6, a small update's rolling out across all platforms with the following patch notes. In multiplayer, they addressed an issue that applied the incorrect range and damage tunings to various assault rifles and SMGs. Those are now correctly reflect the values that were mentioned in the Season 1 patch notes. Now that's a solid update there. Big issue with the Season 1 patch notes and the update itself was that none of the rifles or SMGs were accurate in terms of what their damage values were supposed to be. They all reverted back to day 1 of Black Ops 6 somehow, so they just weren't as good as they were supposed to be. So that's now fully fixed. Unfortunately, Warzone did not get an equally, beneficial update. Here they say, hey, in Warzone, the player count has already been reduced in Plunder from 120 to 100 in order to further optimize performance. As always, we'll continue to monitor data and player experience feedback. So essentially what they're saying here is that servers or the in-game connections were being hindered because of 120 players on WARZONE'S. So now we're stuck down just to 100 on Plunder. Obviously right now Plunder is kind of being used as a camo grind simulator. Everyone's going for those Warzone camos there. In my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if they saw that people were flying through some camos and maybe less players in lobbies, might end up slowing that a little bit, and then players will be on the game for longer. Again, it seems like they just want to focus and prioritize retention over everything. So, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if that was maybe some, incentive to change that. But also, 120 players on WARZONE'S has been something we've battled back and forth with for the past year. At this point, I feel like they should know whether or not the servers can handle this and actually have the game be stable. And if they can't, your Call of Duty. Maybe it's time to upgrade some servers a bit. Another update here that's already live now in Warzone, the Napalm Strike kill streak has also been temporarily disabled because there were various issues going on with that, so you can't currently use the Napalm Streak at all in Warzone. It will be back though at some point in time. Now, a big reason behind why a lot of these new updates are pretty disappointing is that Call of Duty's not addressing some of the more large and prominent issues in the game right now. Though they have addressed some that we'll get to here in just a moment, but it's pretty obvious that the Warzone integration is experiencing a lot of hiccups, right? Like, it's decently good in comparison to how broken some of the other integrations were, but it still has a lot of bugs, a lot of glitches, a lot of issues, right? And certain changes that were made with this integration are not going over well, and COD's not really addressing some of that feedback. What they are doing here, though, is basically trying to cover up one weird change with just a, hey, update your settings. So they end up saying in Warzone, players may notice that a number of settings may have reset or have been changed following the Season 1 update. One in particular that we recommend players check is the sprint cancels reload setting, which currently defaults to on. This setting will be changed to default to off in an upcoming update, but we talked about this in my settings video. Having sprint cancels reload off means that you can actually, or you should be able to actually fully sprint and reload your weapon at the same time. A huge issue with this though within Warzone right now is the fact that that feature is not fully working. There are times when you're trying to tack sprint or full out sprint and you can't reload your weapon. It makes you stop and walk, and then you're just, sitting waiting for an enemy to pick you off at that point, right? It's a really inconsistent option right now that was not an issue back in Modern Warfare 3 because sprinting while reloading was basically a default thing that happens. Now it's also somewhat tethered behind a gung-ho perk as well. So instead of taking a really well-received quality of life feature from last year with Modern Warfare 3 and extending that into the Black Ops 6 Warzone integration, they've now pushed it behind a perk and then also a setting that doesn't even function completely as intended. So definitely a major concern there, and one that's pretty frustrating. Now, by far one of the largest problems with the Black Ops 6 Warzone integration so far is just how bad the audio is. Like, it is atrocious. You cannot hear players running on top of you. Parachute audio is not great. Like, you just can't hear other characters, and there's basically zero information going on there. Now, luckily, in a sea of disappointing updates today, we do have some good news here for sure. And COD Updates says, Warzone, we are investigating reports of audio issues across Warzone, including concerns regarding footstep audio. We'll share any updates as they become available. Now, unfortunately, they give zero ETA here. How long is it going to be until we actually have working audio, until there's noticeable audio changes in game? Is it going to be with a hotfix update, maybe on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Is it going to be with Season 1 Reloaded in early December? Hopefully we actually do get more details and more updates here in the coming days, because this is one of, like I said, the largest concerns, the largest issues going on with Warzone right now, and they've only just started investigating it. So hopefully this is a quick turnaround, because that's one that needs some major tweaking and some major updates for sure. But the good news doesn't last long, unfortunately, because they also, again, seem to be prioritizing just the strangest things. Major issues going on in game right now with Warzone, the audio, so at least they're investigating that. But also there are significant issues with performance and stability. Everyone is talking about how their frames seem to be significantly worse with this update, especially in certain areas of different maps. Urzikstan has its own specific problems. Area 99 has its own specific problems. There's a lot of inconsistency going on there. Various different bugs with blueprints and different guns not working. Basically no recognition there, or no updates in some time there. But instead, what do we get? A prioritized update? What do we get some priority focus on? An issue that's actually making the game more fun in the eyes of a lot of players. In Warzone, they're investigating an issue with the stim shot causing it to provide a greater than intended boost to player movement. So you may recall the stim shots back in the day were one of the best additions to Warzone, one of the fan favorite loadout selections, because you could use them and then get a slight speed boost increase. And this year, it's too fun. It's too good, basically. You're getting more movement out of a singular use stim shot and a temporary boost there than they want, for a game that they've largely marketed around having the best movement in Call of Duty Warzone history, right? With Omni movement. So what do? Instead of promoting a really fun, benefit of stims, they're going to nerf it. They're going to change it and fix it so that you don't get those large boosts. To me, that is a really, really backwards scenario, especially given the time where there's a lot more pressing issues than the stims being very good. Another one that's just not a great look in general that they are investigating with Black Ops 6 is an issue where players who have equipment cosmetics, so if you have skins for your frags or your knives or your smokes or whatever they're not being replenished in the reserves from quartermaster, scavenger packs, and assault pack sources. So that's just like kind of an oversight, it seems like. Hopefully that'll get fixed pretty quick, but right now basically having cosmetics on your equipment is paying to lose because you're not going to get bonus of those throughout a match. And then lastly, another one I wanted to point out that I didn't see posted initially. I think it was just sort of subtly added to the Trello board here where they say they're investigating various things. Like a lot of those different posts from COD updates that we just talked about are listed here, the stim shot issue, audio issue, stuff like that. Well, they added this one, which again just seems like they're focusing on the wrong things at the moment. They say, we're investigating an issue that is unintendedly allowing players to mix and match camos and weapons from different titles. So essentially what this is a glitch that lets you put your Modern Warfare 3 camos on a Black Ops 6 gun, or your Black Ops 6 camos on a Modern Warfare 2 gun. Now, is this a glitch? Yes. Should it be in the game? Probably not, because it's not fully intended as a feature. I think it would be a really cool feature and it gives a lot more value to your camos, but they clearly don't want it in the game. It's not intended there. Is that hurting gameplay right now? Objectively, no. Is the audio hurting gameplay right now? Yes. Is the performance and stability issues hurting gameplay right now? Yes. Is the inability to put certain attachments on weapons and actually have them load into the game, or to be able to change blueprint attachments, affecting gameplay right now? Yes. But are those things being fixed? No. A couple of them are obviously being looked into. Audio is being looked into. Some of the blueprint stuff is being looked into and has also been said to be fixed before, but it just definitely wasn't. Like, they're definitely focusing on updating things, but it seems like some of the clear, obvious, like largest issues are not necessarily the entire focus. Now, I don't think every person on the team is working to fix this mix and match camo bug, but the fact that that's one that they're trying to fix and trying to talk about right now when there's clearly larger issues, I think is a bit of an oversight and definitely disappointing when you stack on top all the other issues that the game is having right now and some of the unfortunate changes they've already made to XP tokens that they're going to make to stims. Just a rough look, because quite frankly, I feel like Black Ops 6 was off to a very hot start. The past couple of weeks have been fantastic. The game was going full steam ahead, a lot of hype behind it. And then season 1 comes in, everyone's excited for the Warzone update. Per usual, the integration has its bugs, it has its glitches, but then they're just taking it in a really strange direction with some of the updates so far. Hopefully the the priority here shifts a little bit. Hopefully it changes to some of the larger, more pressing concerns, and then afterwards they can, fix some of the smaller stuff, the stuff that's not game breaking, maybe some of the funny glitches or, actual enhancements that are unintended right now that are making the game maybe a little bit more fun. But that being said, that's going to wrap things up for this one. Couple of more updates inbound, couple of new updates already live, a lot of disappointment in between, unfortunately, as we continue to get new info on some of the upcoming updates and changes. Once they do push out new patch notes or address or announce anything else, you guys know I'll be covering it all right here, right as it goes live. So feel free to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with that and everything else going on in COD. And if you enjoyed the video, a like rating on your way out would be seriously appreciated. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.